The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
On tonight's episode, can the Pistons maintain their dominance coming out of the All-Star break? The latest news in and around spring training for Major League Baseball, and a look ahead to the Spartans and Wolverines week this week. All that and more as the Sports Reel podcast begins right now.
If it's in the headlines, on the first page or the last, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast.
And we welcome you to the Sports Reel podcast, live on the PFC Entertainment Network. Along with Tim Sheridan and Eric Mendal, I am Jason Clouse. We certainly appreciate you tuning in, spending part of your Tuesday with us. We do have a very special guest. Tim, you want to bring on our guest for this week?
Yes, I can do that. Tonight we are joined by Catching Up with Cody from YouTube, TikTok. I mean, you're pretty much all over the place. Instagram. We linked up a little bit ago on, I think, TikTok there to begin with. But we are super happy to finally have you on the show, Cody. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Getting over a little bit of a sickness, but I think that's what everybody's getting over right now in this time frame. So appreciate you guys having me on. And I met you guys kind of through Vinny, who you guys had on a couple of weeks ago on your guys' podcast. So had an episode with him a couple of weeks ago. So it's just kind of cool, the networking and everything on how this is going. Just as a hobby I started, and where I'm at now is just crazy. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we appreciate you coming on with us, and shout out to Vinny, man. He's in the chats already. So I watched your guys' episode. I really enjoyed it. It was a good episode. I can't wait to see you guys link up again. And speaking of Vinny, he's going to be on with us next week here. So he's making his return to the Sports Reel podcast next week. So we're excited about that also. Other than that, Jason.
Listen, you guys, we talked a little bit off air before we started the show, and like everybody's getting over something. Like my daughter's down with it. My girlfriend's son is sicker than shit with all this, and I don't know how it is, but I don't get sick. Like I feel terrible for anybody who deals with any kind of thing like this. It just does not happen with me, and like I didn't realize how fortunate I am, because this batch of bullshit that's been going around here, man, is just knocking people down, and I feel really bad. And you mentioned Vinny. Vinny was in the chats before I had an opportunity to post a link. If you want to be part of the conversation, be on the show with us. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking with Vinny next week too, because spring training, a lot of the baseball news, and we're going to touch on some of that here tonight. Eric, how are you, man?
Not too bad. Just enjoying these 50-day, degree days and all that, and it's another great Tuesday, and looking forward to spring and all that, and just happy to be with you on your special day, Jason.
What the?
Oh yeah. By the way, we have a very special.
No, stop your bullshit. What? No. You guys, need to stop. You're doing too much right out of the gate. Okay.
Just
Just
want
wait.
everyone to know about your special day, man.
There's no special day today, Eric.
At
Other
some
than like
point,
spend an hour and a half with you guys. That's what makes
On your
this.
birthday.
It is not my fucking birthday. God damn, knock it off.
Okay.
All right, let's get back to some real serious business. Cody, where are you based out of?
Out of Macomb. So actually, me and Tim were just talking yesterday, on how close like we actually are, and that's another big thing with this networking stuff, is that the people I've met a couple people that are states away, and like Tim, I've met a couple people that are just a couple miles away. So it's really cool.
No, it really is, and that's one of the marvels of this realm of entertainment, and this is where we can incorporate social media for things in a good way. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother topic for another show, but be that as it may, it is good to have you on here with us this week. We're going to be talking about. Actually, we'll start here with the Detroit Pistons coming out of the All-Star break. But we talked a little bit last week about, man, this is a crucial time, not just for the Pistons, but historically for Detroit teams coming out of an all-star break or a layoff, like with the NHL, that's the Olympics right now. Um, Historically, Detroit has a hard time coming out of the gate for the second half of their respective seasons. And when we pull up the schedule that the Pistons are looking at this week, Tim, this is going to be one of those weeks that's really going to be a defining period for the Detroit Pistons. Sorry about that. Um,
kind of dig the song. Let's roll in with that.
yeah, wrong button. They're too close in proximity, but they're returning to action on Thursday at New York to play the Knicks. Saturday, what?
They've kicked the shit out of the Knicks the last few times we faced them, so I'm not too worried about that one. But I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, I think we might have their number this year, which is good.
It is good, but like I said, historically speaking, the Detroit teams coming out of an All-Star break for whatever reason, like it takes them a minute to get their footing. I'm hoping that that's not the case with this, and the game with the Knicks is perfectly placed because when you look at after that Saturday, they will be in Chicago to play the Bulls. Now, the last time the Bulls were here, the Pistons were pretty dominant in that game. But it's the last two games of this stretch that I'm worried about. Monday, they will be home against the Spurs. First time the Spurs have been here this year. And then Wednesday, Oklahoma City comes into town. Now, we talked, Tim, about this contrast between the Eastern Conference, Western Conference. And when you look at the West right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs, and you can throw Denver in there too for a part of the conversation. These are the most dangerous teams in the West, in my opinion, right now, as we sit here on February the 17th. Would you agree?
I would agree with that 100%. We talked about this last week, how the Spurs in the West might be one of the front runners down there or in the West. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is a tough second half of this week. I should say, I mean, we're heading into Monday and Wednesday next week, so it's a tough next week. We've been kind of messed up with the whole All-Star break, so we didn't really get any matchups throughout this past week, which was kind of sad, because I didn't get to do the week in Detroit sports this week because there wasn't a whole lot of week in Detroit sports going on. But that this matchup when they head out west there, that's the ones that I'm worried about, and that's the ones that's going to establish them. So if they're really gonna establish themselves as a front runner in this league, which currently right now they're leading the entire league, they are best team in basketball. I mean, there's nobody up there with them right now, which is an awesome feeling because When's the last time we've seen the Pistons be the absolute, not just the best team in the East, but the best overall record in all of basketball currently right now is the Detroit Pistons. So I'm excited about that, but this is going to be a make it or break it week. You're going to have to prove yourself now heading out west against the Spurs and against the Thunder. And I'm really hoping that they can hold their own coming out of this All-Star break, because you brought up that good point that, Detroit teams don't tend to do well after breaks. We've seen it with the Lions, we've seen it with the Tigers. I'm hoping that the Pistons can really hold on to this, and I'm hoping the same thing for the Wings once they get back to action after the Olympic break that they're on right now.
The Lions don't have no All-Star break in the season.
No, but they have
like a bye week.
They have a bye week. That's what I'm talking about. I'm
Okay,
not necessarily just talking. I didn't say just. I'm talking about time off.
Okay.
Breaks in the season.
Okay.
You know
more
what the hell I'm
sense
saying? Is this guy just dumb or what?
I'm here to tell you he is on one tonight, and I'm not sure why.
How's it me?
Cody, how you feel about this coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be tough. I feel like with any sport coming out of any All-Star break, it's rough. You got to get back in the swing of things, trying to get your momentum back. Beef stew is still out, so that's going to be tough with that suspension. Yeah, I mean, the two teams, like you guys have been saying, is San Antonio and OKC. I have them as the top, toughest teams that we're going to have to face going forward, and even in that playoff. And even looking forward to finals, whoever's in there. I think those two teams coming out of the West, one of them will be in the finals. But yeah, we just need to, keep doing what we're doing. JB Bickerstaff, seems like he's got this team figured out. So as long as we can, start off where we, ended off before All-Star break, I think we should be fine. But yeah, this is definitely going to be a tough stretch. And like you guys said, it's going to be make or break for this team here.
Eric, what do you?
I think the two West teams are going to be a really good challenge. I agree with Cody. I think it's going to be very tough. I don't know about make or break, because you could have a slight coming out of the All-Star break, but when you see him again, it might be a different story. You might be back on your grind. You might be back in that swing of things. That guy come back from suspension and all that. I can't remember his name. I should know his name, but
Isaiah Stewart,
yes, and all that. And it's going to be a very hard test coming off of a break, and hopefully we can come out against the Knicks and just smack them around and get that momentum back. And so when those two games come up, we're back in the swing of things.
Yeah, and real quick, I kind of forgot too that this will be the first game that they're playing Jaden Ivey, so that'll be kind of cool to see how that goes for both the Pistons and for Jaden Ivey. I know he's been playing a couple good games over in Chicago, so we'd love to see how that works out too.
That is very true. He could be that next shooter we could use when we need some baskets and not just rely on Cunningham. So that'll be definitely good to see that. So I say you gotta go 2-2 this week.
Oh,
I want to go 3-1.
Who's the loss against, Tim?
I'm gonna go Spurs. I think they beat Oklahoma. I think they drop a game to the Spurs.
I really feel like this is going, and I agree with you. They're gonna demonstrate something against OKC that it's really going to shut a lot of the critics up, because there's still a contingent of the media that are not buying into the Detroit Pistons right now, even at this stage. I don't either, Eric, but yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I say it all the time. It's fucking evident. It's the city for which they play. If this was any other market, they would get more national love. Now, I will tell you that Stephen A. Smith,
I was going to bring that up.
He has become the voice of not reason necessarily, but he is a national figurehead that is.
He's one of the top reporters you pay attention to.
Right. When he talks, people listen. And
yeah, 100%.
And he is on the Pistons bandwagon in terms of this team is legit, and you need to start paying attention to them.
Yeah.
And, I would like to think that the Pistons are in the mindset that this is where we are right now. This is not to fuck with. Like, we have a opportunity to put the NBA on notice.
Mhm.
And for the majority of the teams, they are. Like, the Pistons have become a circled date on their
Mhm.
respective schedules. But there's still the other teams are like, now, we're just waiting for the bottom to fall out.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening right
No.
now,
No, not
unless
at all.
catastrophic happens.
No.
No, and
don't
I,
see
I
that
feel like
happening.
that kind of helps us too, kind of flying under the radar is that we don't need to worry about like proving it to anybody else. They just have to prove it to themselves. And I mean, eventually everybody in the league will see where the Pistons are at. I mean, I feel like it's with every Detroit team, like you guys said, and it's because it's Detroit. I feel like they don't have that national media and they don't have that, everybody doesn't really look at them as a contending team, but that might help in our favor flying under the radar.
It's just it's a small market compared to a large market team. Everybody always tends to, emphasize these large market teams compared to the small market. And Detroit's not to be trifled with in any sport currently right now. So like they need to recognize that. I know the Lions didn't do as hot this past season, but I have a feeling they're going to turn it around this year. And we've had quite a few good years of winning teams in Detroit. So now it's time to wake up and recognize that Detroit has a winning mentality right now, and you need to just give them credit where credit's due because every team has been successful over the past number of seasons.
Fair. Very, very fair. And I don't count them out. I think they're going to make the finals, and I still ride with what Chase said a couple weeks ago. I think they're going to win it. I really do.
I'm standing by that.
The way they're playing, the way that locker room is, hopefully, that trade that they had can benefit them in the long run and give them an extra shooter and not put so much pressure on Cade, even though he's been playing very well with the pressure, which I'm not upset at all. But you just need someone for him to rely on when he needs help.
Well, when you look at the Eastern Conference right now, as things stand, the top 6 teams in the East, obviously the Pistons are at number 1. Then you got the Boston Celtics, you got the Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, who acquired Harding, thank you, a couple of weeks back. They're starting to make some noise. Then you got Toronto Raptors and Philadelphia 76ers. Of these teams right now, I mean, Boston is really the one in terms of other powerhouses in the East. The Boston Celtics are the ones I am most worried about at this stage. But man, Cleveland, by making that trade, put everybody else on notice. Like, we're here to win too, and it's going to be interesting to see how this top 6 here get shaken up as we move forward with the second half of the NBA season. So it's going to be interesting for sure. All right.
Yeah, and I thought I heard something about Jason Tatum coming back. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully he's out for a little bit longer so we can take care of business, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's season's going on. We're already through the All-Star break, and when he comes back, he comes back. I'm not too worried about it.
Well, keeping in line with basketball, we are obviously paying close attention to what's happening on the college front here in the state of Michigan. A couple of prominent teams have been playing here, if you're not in the loop. And let's take a look at what their week looks like this coming week. We'll start with the Michigan Wolverines, who tonight have a big showdown with Purdue. Saturday, they will be at Duke. And then Tuesday, back home to play Minnesota. For the Spartans, they will be home with UCLA here tonight. And then on Sunday, a matchup with the Ohio State Buckeyes.
It's a good one.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's our show.
Yeah.
Well, right now,
And it's your birthday, so.
God damn it, Tim! It is not.
Well, as at the moment, Michigan is up 31-20 at Purdue. That is huge because Purdue has had their number the last couple of years. If they can go into, I can't think of the name of their stadium, I know it's a great like Story place and all that. I can't think of the name. I wish I could. But if you can go in there, if you can go to Purdue and win, and they've been a thorn in your ass the last couple of years, this will be huge for them. And I think they'll be ready for Duke. I think they'll be ready for Duke then. Because Purdue is definitely the other team in the Big Ten I'd be worried about. I don't know, Wisconsin too. They've beat Michigan and Michigan State. And they're not even ranked. I don't know how, but they're definitely someone you should look out for. Wisconsin's playing some different kind of ball right now.
What's your take on that, Cody? Like Michigan has been the dominating headline here since the start of this season, and nobody really expected them to be at this point the number one team in the country. Is this? I mean, do you see this team as a potential contender for national champions? Because the month of March is just a couple of weeks away, and with that comes a pretty big ass tournament. How do you see Michigan faring in all of this? Are they legit?
Yeah, no, I definitely think they're legit. Huge Michigan fan. But yeah, I really did not see them being this good. I know Dusty May, this will be his second year, I believe. He's really turned this program around. I mean, it sucks that we had that one loss, but I think every team needs that one loss just to kind of wake them up and kind of feel what it is to lose. But yeah, I can definitely see them being national champions. Anything can happen in March, so you don't want to be too cocky on that stuff, but there's so many teams that can compete that, I think Michigan, the way they've been beating teams, I mean, they're just smoking teams. I mean, it's not like they're winning on buzzer beaters or 2-3 points. They're blowing teams out. So yeah, definitely national championship contenders and a team to worry about for a long time.
Totally agree. I'm self-admittedly I am a Michigan State fan, but
And you didn't have to do that to him on his birthday.
it isn't. I swear to God. I want you to know I'm keeping tabs here. So the next time I see you fuckers in person, you got it coming. I just want you to know that, and I'm documenting it. So when it happens, you're like, "Why did that happen?"
Oh.
It's all right. Next time you're in studio, I'll just get you a bunch more hard AF seltzers and just get you all messed up. You'll be super happy, Jason, again.
That's fair.
That's never a good. That's not a good thing. That's not a good idea. I piss people off when that happens. You know.
Oh, you were. That was an awesome podcast. You were.
It was.
Oh my God. No.
I think Vinny's an Ohio State fan because he said Ohio State, so I'm not liking that too much.
No, man, Vinny, come on, man. Like I'm a huge fan of yours. Don't fuck this up for me. He asked a question in the chat a little bit ago, and I just seen it when I went back to the thread. He asked about the theme real quick. I wrote the words to the theme, but I put it into an AI generator, and they created the actual song. But the words, the lyrics, I wrote those. And all the graphics and shit, I incorporated all that. But I have no musical talent. I can't play an instrument to save my life. Now my girlfriend, though, fucking amazing musician. I should have had her do it. You know what I mean? But that's the story of our theme. But all right. Anything?
All right, so Jason, since being a Spartan fan, what do the Spartans got to do to turn it around coming into March? March is right around the corner, so they definitely need to start winning because the Big Ten tournament's coming up and all that, and next thing it's gonna be March Madness. And you want a good seed placement for sure.
You do. God damn it. This is the frustrating part because Tom Izzo he's a magician. He has done amazing things with the basketball program for Michigan State. The inconsistency, we talked about that with every other sport and every other team that we focus on here. But Michigan State, for whatever reason, man, I don't know if they let their foot up off the gas. I don't know what happens. they go. It's like a goddamn roller coaster. Like they come out of the gate, they're doing great, and we're all optimistic. They land in the top 10, and then they have this big showdown with Michigan. Like it was one of the most anticipated games between these two teams in quite some time. And when with them, for whatever reason, when they stumble, it takes them longer to get back up on their feet on a consistent basis. But man, once March rolls around, it's like there's a sense of urgency. And Izzo's legacy's on the line. Like the dude's set. Like he could retire tomorrow. And he's gonna be fucking fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they play with such a sense of urgency. Like, where is that every other part of the season? Why can't you approach that with every single game? Like, this is a must-win game. And
look at Scott's last comment. I think that sums it up. Because he's right. Like the highlights I've seen and all that, or the little bit of games I've seen, that sums up what's going on with them right now. They're not playing their game right now. They're playing sloppy, and besides, like you said, the Illinois game, because Illinois is a tough team, and that's when you have to clean it up and be on your game. And they should be like that every game, and they would be probably a top 5 team.
No, 100%. Yeah, I don't know what has to happen here. They have to steer the ship. There is no doubt about that. As a Spartan fan, like I get nervous at this time of year. I get nervous when it comes up to March Madness time because I want this, like that's my team. You know what I mean? Obviously, I want this team to be good, and I want them to be among the best programs in the country. And we have the coach, we have the talent, but they're not all on one page. You can clearly see that. It's like, why are you fuckers so scatterbrained right now? You have one goal here. You need to get, this is it. They need to get back to basic fundamentals. They're so worried about all these over the top plays and all this. Just play.
That could be it.
Basketball. That's all you have to do. Get back to basics.
Fair. Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
I feel like a lot of teams, though, like come mid-February, early March, they just kind of take their foot off the gas. And I don't know if it's just preparation to get ready for March Madness or what it is. I mean, that's why I think some of these, Cinderella teams make it farther through the tournament is because they have something to play for all the way through. Whereas some of these top teams are like, okay, we're going to be in March Madness no matter what. Let's just settle down. And I think that's what kind of messes up a lot of these teams come March Madness is that's how they get knocked out early is they're just not focused on what the goal is.
That's fair. That definitely could be it.
I could not agree more. Could not agree more. No.
Well, Tim, you got any comments on it or? No? Okay.
No.
Next thing.
No.
Let's move on.
Go Michigan. Sorry, I've been dealing with chats. I'm like, chats are going nuts right now. So I'm trying to deal with between YouTube and our chat. I'm busy.
Good.
I'm a busy man. And yeah. What's our next topic, Jason?
Well, let's switch gears to Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Spring training among us. The first game's coming up on the 20th, just a handful of days away. I cannot be more excited. Obviously last week we spent a tremendous amount of time talking about Justin Verlander returning to the team. How that's going to benefit this team, what role is he going to play in? Cody, let me ask you real quick. You weren't here with us last week. Number one, how closely do you follow baseball? Two, if you have an opinion, Justin Verlander's return to the team, what's that going to do for the Tigers?
Yeah, I do follow baseball. It's not one of the top sports that I follow, but I'm definitely interested in everything. Actually, when I saw that Justin Verlander was coming back, I was super excited. I was kind of hoping this happened a couple years ago, but I think it's definitely going to help. Whether he plays a big role or not, it'll just be that veteran piece in the locker room to help some of these young guys. We're obviously in great playoff contention these last couple of years, so I think he's going to get us over that hump, and I mean they might be able to win it this year. I've been kind of hearing that we need to add some more bats. Like I said, I want to start looking more into the team. But yeah, I'm excited for where they're going to go this season, and that Justin Verlander signing was perfect.
I'm with you. I really wish it would have happened. I wish he had come back here instead of going to San Francisco. Him going to San Francisco, I that gutted me. I was more bothered by that than I was when he went to the New York Mets. I was like, God damn it, man, just come back home. Because
Yeah. Instead of bouncing around, just come back home and get it done.
you wanted to go to Houston to win a World Series ring. That's what you did. Great. But as soon as that part of his career was over, that's when we started initially hearing rumblings. Well, he wants to come back and eventually retire as a Detroit Tiger. But then he winds up bouncing around, and I can't stand that shit.
Yeah.
That whole thing with the Giants just did not need to happen in my view. But with the return of Justin Verlander, another former Detroit Tiger was prominently mentioned in local headlines. One Nick Castellanos, who had been unceremoniously released by the Philadelphia Phillies. There was speculation that he could make a return to the Tigers, which, people have an opinion of him either very positive or very negative. There's not a lot of gray area when you're talking about Castellanos. But he did eventually sign with the San Diego Padres this past week. And so he will be playing in San Diego. He's getting the league minimum from the Padres, and the Phillies have to make up the rest of his salary based on the remaining years of his contract. Tim, Nick Castellanos,
Yeah, I want to get into this.
when he was here, were you a fan?
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple good seasons here, and he had a couple off seasons here. You know what I mean? His best seasons came after he left here, obviously. I mean, he became an all-star once he left here. And I think we've covered him on this show before, and I think Jim said at one point, we were watching his highlights going, why do we let these guys walk away like right before they hit the prime of their careers? You know what I mean? And we were talking about that. This was early on in the episode. But I wanted to bring this up in general because I had put a post out, I mean, on TikTok and all over our socials here, right after he got released, and I tagged the Detroit Tigers, and I said, you need to bring this guy back. And like half the people were like, yeah, great idea. And I think I even talked to you on the phone about this, Jason, like right after it happened. And half the people were like, no, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. And I'm like, well, tell me why it's a bad idea that we bring him back. I understand that he had, locker room issues in Philly. I get it. You know what I mean? But I don't remember ever hearing any of that shit while he was with the Tigers. You didn't really hear about it with the Tigers. So was he a problem with the Tigers, or was he just a problem with management with the Phillies? And maybe they didn't see eye to eye, because sometimes that shit happens. But regardless of the fact, I brought up the fact of what was the one thing we were lacking last year, especially through that postseason run, and that was being able to get runners in. We couldn't score. We left so many runners in scoring position throughout those playoffs. It wasn't the hits. Like, we were getting hits, but we were leaving 2-3 guys on bases. And then we just couldn't get anybody in, and we couldn't just score those runs. Well, what Castellanos does pretty well, and he did it even through, getting benched last season and everything else, he still had 75 RBIs last season. Now, I looked at the stats of all of our outfielders last season, and the only person who beat him out was Riley Green, to be honest with you. And so you add that piece into that, everybody's like, well, we got to give him a Kinstry a chance and all this other stuff. And it's like, this is a plug and play guy that can get you 75 to 100 RBIs, and that's where we're lacking. I understand defensively he's not as good, but that's not where we're hurting. Who said that? Yeah, no, I get that, but the only time I've ever heard that about him is in Philly. Jason, have you ever heard anything about him being a cancer when he was with Detroit or when he was with Chicago or anywhere else?
It was starting to become a problem in Detroit.
Was it?
Yeah, because he got into an altercation in the dugout. I'm trying to remember who it was with. I don't think it was Iglesias. But no, his ego was starting to become a problem, and that's one of the reasons, Tim, why they were okay with letting him go,
Yeah.
not making a mad rush to try to resign him, and that was the frustrating part for a lot of fans because he was homegrown. He came through the Tigers system, came up to the show, and he did respectably well. Absolutely, he did. He showed so much promise, so much potential to become a main player here on this team. But he started to realize that too. And his ego, and I wish Jim was on here because he'll back me up on this. Um, he was becoming a problem. So when all of this shit happened in Philadelphia, and you started to hear the clash with Bryce Harper and all this other stuff. I was not surprised, and it makes me wonder how he hasn't had his ass kicked because he does, and I wholeheartedly believe in believing in yourself. You have to be your biggest advocate and cheerleader at the end of the day. But god damn it, man, when you are in an environment like that, you got to keep your shit in check. And because there's a lot of other people that you're going to come across that are better than you, that are more experienced than you, because he had a mentality like he knew everything. It was just the way he carried himself. So when people started talking about bringing Castellanos back to the Tigers, I was like, not the same guy that left here. I don't want that guy. I think it was Vinny that was in the chats. He was a cancer for Philadelphia, and I worry that if this whole thing with San Diego does not humble his ass, his time here is limited because not a lot of teams are going to want to put up with that kind of bullshit. While he is talented, he's not that damn good to have that kind of ego. That's just
No, I
my
mean, you need to do a lot more than, bat. I think he batted 250 last season to really have that type of thing. I'm just looking at run support, and what else is left out there because that's still what we're lacking. They address pitching. We know that at this point in time. Like pitching, I think we're totally solid on, but we still haven't addressed, that run support. Like we need a bat that can knock people in. You know what I mean? We got to get runs on the board. Cody, what do you think about Castellanos?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Jason. I mean, if he's a good ball player, yeah, that'll help you win games, get you to the next step. But you behind the scenes, you have to. That'll also ruin a team too. I mean, if he's in the locker room and he's picking fights with everybody, and everybody's not focused on, like we said before, the main goal, which is obviously to win the World Series, then that kind of a little bit outweighs the on the field stuff because I don't know. I would want somebody that's focused both on and off the field, and yeah, you don't want anybody that's going to ruin the team behind closed doors because that ruins the players and it also messes with the fans because they're confused on, well, why is this guy not playing? We signed him for X amount of money and all this other stuff. So yeah, if he comes in, does his job, and he gets along with everybody, then I'm all for it. But yeah, if he's going to come in and just ruin the locker room, then I think it's better off he stays outside.
And I think, maybe that'll be a wake up call that he's playing for the league minimum, with the Padres.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
He's going to be fighting for a spot. And I anticipated that if he would have came to the Tigers, it would have been a similar situation that he'd be fighting for a spot. Eric, do you have anything to say about this?
No, not really.
No. Eric's not our baseball guy.
No, I do have something I want to touch on the Tigers, but it's not about this player, so I'm gonna let you guys finish it out, and I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, I get both sides of this thing. I'm just looking at the fact that like they haven't really addressed the bats, and that was our biggest issue going into the postseason last year is that we just couldn't get the runs in. I mean, we left too many runners in scoring position, and I thought he could be a piece, especially if you're picking him up at the league minimum, and the Phillies are paying the majority of his salary. You make him compete for that spot. If he doesn't get it, and our guys beat him out, fine. You know what I mean? Sit him. You're not paying him shit anyways. You know, like you don't play him. You know, but he's gonna get that chance with the Padres. I don't condone bad, you know, attitudes in the locker room when you think you're a superstar. You batted 250 last season, dude. Like, chill the hell out. If you batted 330, you'd have an argument. You know what I mean? But you batted 250. You still got 75 RBIs, and that's the number I was looking at because that's something that we could add to. Because besides Riley Green, not too many of our guys even got close to that number. You know, it's so like, and the injury thing. I was looking at that also. A lot of the guys, McKinstry, you know, Kerry Carpenter, a lot of these guys couldn't complete the whole season. They were injured multiple times. So you're dealing with injuries. And I look at, you know, Castellanos's, you know, stats throughout the years. He stays relatively pretty healthy throughout the majority of the years. And that's all I was looking at. Maybe we don't need the attitude. I get it. Maybe there's a diamond in the rough in, you know, the minors that we can pull up. We don't know. I know we have a very, very deep farm system that they can pull from. So I'm hoping that's what can happen. Do you guys have anything else to add with Castellanos?
Not with Castellanos, no, but there's a couple of more headlines from spring training that I do want to touch on. But before I do, Eric, you said you had something else about the Tigers.
Yeah, I want to ask you. So that the pitcher we signed to that 3-year deal, can't remember his name. I barely can pronounce it anyway.
It's Valdez.
Okay. I heard from Carl that Valdez was pitching a game. He called for a pitch. The catcher said, no, you know, throw this pitch, change the call, threw the ball, grand slam. And then coming back, next pitch, he called the pitch, told his catcher what it was going to be, and then straight just beamed him with it. Hey, did you hear about this?
I did not.
No, I heard it. I heard a lot about that. So he kind of threw his own catcher under the bus because he was pissed at him. And I was wondering if that was going to create any controversy with the Tigers or with how he did that. Carl told me to look it up and all that. I have not. I didn't know if you've heard about it or not because you're a bigger baseball fan than I am. But hearing that just made me wonder, is it my way or nothing? You know, is it going to be him calling it no matter what and not listening and not being a team player? Or is he going to get too big of a head with Skubal? Because he is one of the best pitchers in the league. Are him and Skubal going to go back and forth at it? Because it's the Skubal's team. You know, he's opening day here. So that just made me wonder if you heard about that or not. Maybe deep dive into it and read about it. But
I did hear some stuff about this.
Yes.
I had not heard it. I am going to do some research on it, but what I can tell you is, number one, that shit ain't going to fly here.
No.
You know, that is with as much resources as the Tigers ownership, the Illiches are putting into this team this year. They're not here to fuck around. They have demonstrated that mentality. That is not going to fly here. Mm-hmm. Two, this is where Justin Verlander is. This is one, in my opinion, this is one of the key reasons why Verlander is coming back. Okay. To keep the pitching staff in line here. Yes, it is Tarek Skubal's team. He is our ace. Yes, I am not dismissing that. But in a lot of aspects, Verlander's return eclipses that. His presence alone is going to put this team in a whole different mindset, especially that pitching staff, because you have a guy that is a living legend for this team, and that is going to make a difference. The third thing I want to make mention of, between Skubal and Valdez, this could be a good thing, because competition among two teammates brings out the best for the entire team as a whole, because they're going to want to keep elevating their game to be better than, especially for, you look at Tarek Skubal, who is a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner. Mm-hmm. So it's like he's got a lot of pressure, but he's on the top of the pecking order right now. And Valdez wants that spot. He didn't come here to play second best to anybody. So as long as they can maintain professionalism, a professional rivalry between the two, I'm all for it. And the Tigers are going to wind up being the benefactors of it all, in my view. But I am going to look into that because that's some bullshit if that's the case as it's laid out. I don't agree with that at all.
No, I don't either. You know, just I don't know. You don't do your catcher like that or your teammate at all.
No.
So
No.
we'll see. Do more of a deep dive on it. I know you'll get your research in, and you'll probably find it, and you'll let me know how you feel about it, and we can go from there. We can talk either throughout the week or next week on the show about it. But yeah, I heard that, and I just was hoping you heard about it too. Like Tim said, he heard it. So we'll get more about that. Definitely with MLB starting up very, very soon.
Yeah, well, like I said, the 20th is going to be the first batch of spring training games. I actually have the lineup here.
So that's going to be Friday.
Yes, sir. The New York Yankees will be playing the Baltimore Orioles. Kansas City will be playing Texas. White Sox against the Cubs. I always enjoy watching those games. Arizona will be playing the Colorado Rockies. That's actually going to be free for all. So I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about that shit. I don't have to pay for anything to watch the Rockies. And then the Padres will be playing the Mariners. Mariners is going to be a team that everybody is going to be looking at this year. Was this a fluke last year?
That's fair.
Them and Toronto. And Toronto doesn't play until later on in the weekend, but a couple of good games here. I think again, it's spring training. We're trying everybody out, but I mean, you start getting a feel for what's happening.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to find when the Tigers play on the 21st. They will be.
Okay.
They will be playing the New York Yankees. So,
Okay.
One more
Cody,
thing. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Did you hear anything about the Valdez thing about that? What I brought up or no?
No, I didn't. I'm actually gonna look into it as well.
Okay.
I mean, kind of talking about it. It's just like, I get it. Some of these guys, they're all trying to fight for positions, be the best. Just to me, it's always like, just handle it like behind closed doors. I mean, fans don't need to hear any of that stuff. And I mean, there's already enough, like, fans already nitpick everything as it is. So I feel like if you're just going to add fuel to the fire, you're just causing it yourself. But no, I am going to look into that because, yeah, I mean, they can butt heads in a friendly, competitive way. But yeah, we don't want that to ruin what the ultimate goal is.
100%.
I could not agree more. And we kind of touched on this last week or the week before last when we were talking about the arbitration thing with Scooble and how everything just became a media circus for a hot minute, and everybody's like, well, why? It's all about the Detroit Tigers and how they handled it. Well, come to find out, it was Scooble's agent. They had gone on Twitter and started running his fucking mouth. And us as fans, I don't give a shit about arbitration. I don't deal with that. Just bring me the best team on my home field that's going to bring my team a world championship. That's all I give a shit about. I don't care about all the other drama. But this is where social media is such a detriment and how it has changed the landscape of every single sport in some regard or another. Some good, but a lot of bad. You know what I mean? And Cody, I'm totally with you. Keep that shit behind closed doors. Keep social media out of it. Man, it's going to get to a point, and I'm surprised it hasn't yet, that there's going to be new rules put in place some way or another where they're going to completely take social media and its presence out of the negotiations to make it illegal to publicly discuss this shit. Because I don't think we need to know. It's none of our business. Just bring us the best teams to bring us championships. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
And
Yeah,
if you
I
Google,
100% agree.
And if you Google Valdez, it's like the 5th thing comes up on Google about it.
Okay.
Just
Well,
so you know. But then I did hear this last week with Justin Verlander signing and all that. The contract, how it's laid out is we're only paying him $2 million this year, then he gets the rest through until 2030. So we're only taking a $2 million cap hit this year, or hit from him. It's not really, there's no cap and all that, but so that does help out because it's only a 1-year deal, but then it gets, pans out until 2030. So that does help out. I will say that we're not throwing all 13 million at him right now, or whatever he got. I know it's only 2 million this year.
that's huge.
So yeah,
That's
that's
huge.
what I thought too. That's what I thought.
Well,
Especially for a small market team. Like, that's huge.
yeah. That provides you a little bit of wiggle room because as we go through these first few weeks of spring training games, guys are going to be getting cut left and right. And this is how we find, like Tim had said, those diamonds in the rough. This is where we're going to get our next big bat. It's going to be another JD Martinez.
I hope so. I hope so.
Where he got cut because nobody saw anything in him. He comes here and man, starts
Lights out.
exploding. Yeah,
Lights out.
then he winds up leaving and going to other teams. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like that's where we're going to find our next big bat. It's not going to be somebody that's on the level of an Aaron Judge or anything.
Hey, you don't know that. You don't know that. Anyone could come out of
is
nowhere.
We're not taking Aaron Judge. We're
Okay,
not
I got
taking
you.
an established player right now. We're going to get this
I got you.
23-year-old stud that the Minnesota Twins didn't see anything in.
I got you.
You feel me? Now, speaking of the Twins, I wanted to make mention of this real quick because this is a big blow to the Minnesota Twins, which winds up being in our favor. Their all-star pitcher, Pablo Lopez, has torn his UCL in his elbow, his right elbow, and this is a damning blow to the Minnesota Twins pitching staff. This is an all-star pitcher coming off his best season last year with a 2.74 ERA. Man, you look at a tear of your UCL. This dude is looking at potentially season-ending injury, season-ending surgery. You hate to see anything like this happen on that level, but this is going to be a big blow for the Minnesota Twins. So I needed to make mention of that.
That's fair.
It could
Definitely.
potentially shake up their entire pitching staff, and if they're already trying to jockey for position. The Minnesota Twins, I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
They need to have they need something established, and right now there's just so much moving and shaking going on with that franchise. It's going to be interesting to see what they do if he winds up being out for the whole season. Like, holy shit, who are you calling up, or who are you making a run for? Watch it be Tarek Skubal. Just kidding.
I mean, that's I don't think the Tigers. I think the Tigers are going to be in a position where they're not going to trade him halfway through the season. I think they're going to be making a run at it this year, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, whether or not he's here the following season after that, I doubt it. I mean, they're going to let him go because they're not going to want to pay him that money. But I mean, we got Valdez now. Obviously, this is probably going to be Verlander's last year. I think he came here to retire, put one more year in and retire, and it's probably the best. And I hope that we get everything out of him. I made the comment last week that I think they should pitch him out of the bullpen. I don't know if they're going to do that. We'll have to see how he does as a starter, because I have a feeling he's going to be leaning that way as a starter. But I think late season through the postseason, I think the bullpen would be the best position for him. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the Tigers. Let's get it going. Hopefully they can find that bat, because that's the biggest thing that I'm worried about is pitching. I feel really confident. I made that comment a little bit ago to Vinny in the chats that I think the Tigers have the two best left-handed pitchers in the league currently right now. And, confidence-wise in that starting rotation is very, very high. And they just need to be able to score runs, and that's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, and like you said about Skubal, I think he's in for it this year. I think he's ready to win a championship with Detroit. I think with us, figuring out all of his contract stuff, I think that helps the team going forward here for this year. It's less noise that they have to worry about. But yeah, hopefully they can make one more run for JV. I think that'd be a cool story for him.
I think so too, especially if they can win that World Series with him, because I know he always wanted to bring one here. He had to leave to get one, you know what I mean? So it'd be nice to finish out his career here with the World and actually win one.
Stafford had to leave to get a ring too.
Yep. But I don't see Stafford ever coming back to, win
No,
one.
right,
JV has that opportunity.
That's true.
But yeah. Other than that, does that wrap up MLB there?
Yes, sir. Unless you guys have something else you would like to discuss.
No, I was hoping real quick to throw a little bit of NFL in. I know it's off season right now, but there's been some rumblings this past week. You better shut the fuck up right now.
We always got time.
No, there's been some rumbling. There's some rumors and rumblings. I mean, obviously, I want to touch on the Max Crosby thing because that seems to be the biggest thing in news right now. Is apparently Max Crosby wants out of Las Vegas. He said he'd rather retire than return there. So I'm anticipating a trade from there, and everybody is saying, should the Lions go after him? And at what cost is my question. Is really at what cost? Would it be awesome to see Max Crosby on the other side of that line, lined up opposite a Hutch, or not opposite, but
He is a Lapeer native, if you know.
Oh, I know. He's originally from Lapeer. He spent, he grew up his youth here in Lapeer. And it would be cool to see him back here, but everything that they're calling for him, it also worries me because bringing him here, what do we have to give up to get him? You know what I mean? Like
At least 2 first rounders and a player.
And what are you losing in that fact? Because what's the biggest issue with the Lions right now? It's that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could give up maybe, next year's first rounder and give up, I even saw somebody call to get rid of Lee McNeil. I'd be okay with getting rid of McNeil.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we could live without McNeil if we could get Crosby. But if you don't have that first round pick this year, your chances of improving that offensive line dwindle down to almost anything because offensive linemen don't come up in free agency very often, and we don't know what's going to be out there. So by giving up our first rounder this year, I don't see how that fixes the team. Like, do you guys have an opinion on this?
It depends on what you do in free agents, and you'd have to really do a lot in free agents to get that offensive line better. And there's only so many free agents out there.
Yeah, and I just you don't get stud offensive linemen usually in free agency.
Not really,
gotta
no,
draft them.
because usually by that time, offensive linemen hit free agents. They want big money, or their teams ain't gonna let them walk.
Yeah,
look at Penei Sewell. We're never gonna let him walk. He's your entire Lion.
Yeah.
Same with Ragnow did, and all our stud linemen are not going to go anywhere. They're hard to get. So yeah, you got to draft them, and I don't think you should trade this year's first round pick for Crosby. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have him on the other side of Hutch, but I think you can do more with what you have in the draft and free agents than to bring a superstar like that.
Well, and you got Cody. What's your take on it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I know even last season they were talking about, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, all these guys. And yeah, I think we still have to build for the future. I mean, I don't know if we want to put all of our eggs in the basket right now, especially after the season we just had. Yeah, I mean, it's going to cost us a lot to get Max Crosby. Will it be awesome to have him here? Like you said, yeah. I mean, him and Hutch on the defense would be awesome. But you're just giving up too much of your future in hopes to win now, which we've been trying to hope to win now, I feel like, for the last couple of years. And we're just missing that piece. Injuries obviously have been affecting us the last couple of years. But, yeah, I think it's too much to give up future-wise to potentially try to win now.
No, I agree with you, Jason. You got any?
Well, I echo your sentiment. It would be great to have Crosby here. Absolutely would be. In a perfect world, why not? Let's make it happen. If it's going to result in a Super Bowl championship, great. Do we just want that one and done so that we can take our name off that infamous list of the only teams in the NFL who have never played in a Super Bowl? Is it worth that?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Because if we won it in 23, I feel like we would have made another one by now. I feel like it'd have been different.
It's a hard one to call.
That is true. That is true.
And on that same sentiment, I'm hearing almost the same type of rumors going on right now because Tyreek Hill was just released from Miami, and a lot of people are calling for Detroit to try to sign him.
You don't need him. You have Williams. You don't need a speedy receiver.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
that's
just telling you
that
what
wide
the
receiver
online-
locker room is too full right now.
I'm just
That's
telling
a
you what
headache.
the online sentiment
Well,
is.
yeah,
Everybody's calling for him to call. I say no.
Because this is what you said was going to happen. Tyreek Hill's going to go back to Kansas
He's
City.
going back to the Chiefs.
He didn't even want to leave there. He's going to get a hold of Mahomes. He's going to get a hold of Andy Reid. He's going to go back to Kansas City. I can already see that.
And he's going to go there cheap.
Oh, 100%, because he wants to go
Super
win.
cheap.
He wants to go win. He
Yep.
was on a winning dynasty, winning team, not dynasty. It's not dynasty.
No, it's definitely a
It's
dynasty.
definitely not. But
The great Chiefs dynasty.
he was on a very good run with the Chiefs, and if he would have never left, who knows how many more Super Bowls the Chiefs would have? Because you had such a speed. That was Patrick Mahomes' number one receiver. Then you got rid of him. And who's been his number one receiver since? Nobody.
No. I mean, it's
Xavier Worthy. Okay, he's been okay.
Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, Rasheed Rice.
When he's healthy and
it
not
has not
crashing
been,
his car.
It's not been a Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce situation. But I feel like if Tyreek Hill goes there, Kelce will have another one more year in him.
I think, yeah, because
I
I
can
mean,
see
what
that.
I'm hearing right now is Kelce wants to come back another year.
No, of course he does. He doesn't want to
So-
go out. He doesn't want to go out on a record like that and all that. He wants to go out as a winner and make another Super Bowl run. Of course, we all do.
And
That's what Peyton Manning did, and that's what Tom Brady did, and
So, and on the other consensus, or the other thing that's going around, because Miami also just released Bradley Chubb.
Yep.
Is that a piece that we might try to go after instead
I-
of going
I-
after Crosby? You go after Chubb. He's
I
a little bit
say-
older, but
I say you go after Rajay Gray.
I can see that.
He's an interior defensive lineman that can bring pressure and stop the run.
We don't need another interior though.
But you get
We need
rid
an edge rusher. We already have McNeil and we got Tyreek Williams.
DJ Reader hasn't done shit.
No, but you got Williams and you got
Williams didn't do much either.
No, but it was his rookie year. He was
Yeah,
starting to
but
get better towards the end of the year.
But I think Gray would be a better one. You could put Gray can play on the outside too. He's played a lot on the outside for Green Bay.
If he can play on the outside,
You could
too,
put him
then
on the
yeah.
outside and it'd be perfect, I think. But it's February still, off season. Super Bowl just happened last week. We'll see what happens.
All right, that's all. Cody, you have anything else to fill in on that?
No, I mean the only other thing I can see Tyreek is maybe going to like Buffalo or a contending team.
I can see Buffalo 100%.
Because I don't think Kansas City's going to be contending with Mahomes with that injury and everything. I think I don't know. I think they're on the decline. Kansas City is.
Don't say that.
Yes, I love you now, Cody. You are my favorite. You can come on anytime now.
Cody, I was so close to liking you.
You can
so
come
close
on
to
anytime
liking
now.
you. Yeah.
You have an open invite from me and the birthday boy.
There we.
Whose birthday is it?
Yours.
Someone else on this.
Happy birthday to you.
Everyone in the comments say happy birthday.
No,
to Jason.
Scott, I'm not denial. I know that they're not going to have a run this year. I mean, Mahomes not going to come back to later in this year. This is not their year. I'm looking forward to 2027. It's Chiefs time back in 2027.
We'll see.
All right, that's let's wrap up NFL then.
Should we talk about some curling?
Oh,
Well, hang
curling.
Is anybody excited about the UFL? I mean,
No.
since I'm
No,
a
no,
football-
No, not
we
since
get-
they left Michigan. Fuck
I
them.
know.
Not at all.
They totally just got rid of the whole
Not at all.
USFL portion of that.
Yep. Nope. When we had the Michigan Panthers, it was great. We found the Lions found their kicker from there, and then you guys want to leave because you guys couldn't find a stadium to play in, which you probably could have found somewhere to play.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, we ain't worried about that.
All right. Well, the games start March the 27th for anybody that's interested in the UFL. I had to at least make mention of it. We don't give a fuck about it anymore because they took away our Panthers, but be that as it may.
Unless you bring 4 more teams and you get Detroit back in it, then great.
That's what, man.
Expand it. You already had such a good fan base here, and you had people that were going to the games. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I don't even know why they. I mean, I just so stupid.
I don't know.
All right, you want to switch over to the Olympics for a few here? Where the
Josh Darn Canadian cheating SOBs.
Oh yeah, you seen that? You seen that? I didn't do that. I didn't do that once. He did it like 4 times.
Them non-Pope having son of a guns.
Oh my god.
It's funny you brought that up because I was just writing notes before I came on here, and that was one thing that I was going to bring up was that cheating stuff because I've been kind of paying attention to the Olympics, and when I saw that, I'm like, on the biggest stage, what are you guys doing? I mean, there's cameras all over the place.
Oh yeah, you can see it easily that he's doing it every
Just a
time.
little
Yeah.
finger push.
Yep, every time. Every time.
Yeah.
Do you got a graphic for the Olympics, Jason?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay.
I was trying to make one real quick before we came on the air, and it just was not working out for me. But what I can tell you is right now the United States has a total of 21 medals in these winter games: 6 gold, 10 silver, 5 bronze. Um, they are third in the medal count behind Norway and Italy. And I'll have you know that live this morning at 3:05, you can catch the women's round robin against Great Britain in curling. So if you want to watch it live, you have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and watch the American women versus Great Britain in curling. And then at 5:30, for those who are going to be up, freestyle skiing for the women's aerials. 5:45, cross country skiing. So this coming morning, a lot of events live for the Americans. Love that for them.
100%. And then Wednesday, U.S. I believe plays. Who was I? It's not Sweden. I'm talking about hockey.
Yes.
They play. Who?
It's Sweden.
Sweden. They play Sweden for the semifinals, I believe, or something, to make the trip to the semifinals or top 4.
It is to advance to the semifinals. These are
Yep.
the men's quarterfinals.
Yep.
They will be playing at 3 o'clock this afternoon or tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
I know the U.S. women's team is playing for the gold here pretty soon. Are they playing against Canada?
Let me pull
I think they
this
just
up.
stomped Canada like 10-1.
They
Yeah,
did
haven't they shut out like every team so far?
Yeah, the women's U.S. team seems undeniably the best team in the Olympics so far on the women's side.
And then the men's curling lost to, I think, Italy.
Yeah, they lost to
Today.
Italy. I saw you post that. Eric's actually been keeping up on all
I
the
have. I've been
the
paying
Facebook
very
page with all the
attention to
curling results.
and all that. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
pay attention to all the Olympics stuff.
That's how I've been
Crazy.
getting all my curling news. Is Eric's posts on the
Just
Facebook.
paying attention to it. It's actually like, the more I learned about it, I'm like, it's actually an interesting sport and it's crazy. And then seeing that guy cheat and he's like, I didn't do that. It's like, dude, come on. There's cameras at all angles. You're not going to get away with it at all. Like, you can see your finger hit it every time. It's ridiculous.
Really is. I'm trying to see if I can just pull up. I hate the way they have their website set up. It is
It's
not
so
easy.
hard to follow.
Yeah, it is not easy to navigate. I just want to know. Simple.
I did watch a little bit of the short track the other day. That was kind of crazy how those guys and women, how they skate that fast and all those people weaving in and out. I'm like, I don't even know who's winning, who's losing, or what.
Yeah, it's hard to follow. I was watching the
Entertaining, though, that's for sure.
the
yeah.
500 speed skating the other day, the women's 500. That was pretty entertaining.
Well, as Jason tries to find what he's looking for and all that, I got a question for you, Cody. With
Yeah.
how the Red Wings season's been going, how do you think they're going to come out of this Olympic break? Are you nervous? You think they're going to fall back, or you think they're going to push forward? Do you think Eisman's going to make a trade at the deadline and get us over that hump and get us back to the playoffs? Because I see, looks like you have a Lindstrom flag in your studio there. So
Yeah, actually got the Lindstrom jersey there. Yeah, I mean, same thing like how we talked about basketball. They might have a little bit of a bumpy ride coming out of the Olympic break here. But they're another one. I mean, I think he should just leave the pieces as they are. The momentum's working. I think everybody's gelling. Chemistry's working well. So I think he should just leave it as is. And I think they're another one to talk about possibly winning the Stanley Cup here this year. So yeah, I would leave everything alone. And because I feel like when you shake things up, it could go either way. And just as a Detroit fan, I feel like when we do these trades to kind of get us over the hump, it kind of backfires and puts us a couple steps behind.
Well, we didn't have that. There was a trade earlier in the year where the one player did want to come to Detroit, and Eisman didn't talk about it. I can't remember his name. I remember Jason mentioning it. I think he was from Vancouver. He went to the Islanders. Yep, I can't remember his name and all that, but he wanted to come to Detroit, and I'm like, he was a hell of a winger and all that. He would have been a great fit, and honestly, Lucas Raymond's been playing very phenomenal for his country in the Olympic break, and I'm just hoping no one gets hurt and isn't able to come back right away, because I feel like that's what always happens. Someone gets hurt, and then it messes up our mojo, and then you next thing you know, we're dropping games left and right. We're losing 4 in a row, 5 in a row, and it's like, wow, we were on a really good path, and we were last year, and I'm hoping they can keep it up. I'm hoping Eisman makes a trade for someone or something this season to get us over that hump, because it's been 10 years since we've been in the playoffs, and that, me growing up, I don't know how old you are, that was the one team you could count on to make playoffs every year and make a run for the cup every year.
Yeah, I remember when we were, was it 25 seasons in a row?
Yep.
At one point that we were, yeah,
Yep.
I remember that. And it's funny you were talking about injuries during the Olympic break. That guy from the Kings, I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head, but that's what worries me too. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys that, like, you know, since this is the first year that they've had NHL players in a while, what's your guys' opinion? Do you think they'll continue to do that, or because, you know, with this injury in particular, do you think they'll not allow NHL players to play in the Olympics?
I don't think you're not going to be able to not allow them. They're going to play for their country. It's just play at your own risk. You know what you're going to do. You know, you signed a contract with this team. You got so much money on the line, and you want to win a Stanley Cup. And if you're playing good, it's on your play at your own risk. I feel like, because if I was in their shoot, I'd want to go play. I'd want to go to Italy and go play for my country and all that, or wherever it is that year. So I wouldn't say you can't make it where you can tell them no. You know, they're their own person, their own athlete. They're going to make their own decisions. Jason, how do you feel about it?
I can understand that to a degree, but at the same time, you know, when you sign with an NHL team, just like, you know, if a football player signs with the NFL or a baseball player and with the MLB, like, you're signing a lot away when you sign that dotted line, whether you're part of the team or whatever. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This was a concern for us. You know, these guys go play in the Olympics, they get hurt, it fucks up the rest of their NHL season, for which they're truly being paid. Like, that's what they make a living with. You know what I mean? And I said this all those years ago when they made the announcement that NHL players could start representing their countries in the Olympics. I'm like, it's just a matter of time. I mean, we've kind of dodged the bullet for the most part. Like, it really hasn't affected the Detroit Red Wings terribly since this kind of thing. But, you know, the more injuries happen, the more the NHL a commissioner and the owners and things of this nature are going to have a sit down meeting and be like, we're not allowing this anymore. There's other junior hockey, junior professionals. They can pull people from the, you know, the Flint Firebirds and all these other
Saginaw Spirits and
you know, not minor league hockey, but I mean, in reality, it is. They're professionals. They're just not on the level of the NHL. Doesn't mean they're not talented. Let those guys play on the world stage and develop their talents and represent their countries and things of this nature. That's where
I don't know. I think I get you sign a contract and all that, but it's also, you have the own free will of what you want to do. You know, you are your own person. In a degree, yes. You know, I get that.
Listen, I'll put it in perspective like this, because this does, and I know a lot about this. It's the only reason why I'm using this as an example. But this is a lot of how the major sports organizations, franchises, this is how they dictate their contracts. Because I'm a professional, or I was a professional wrestler, and Tim it was too, if we were to sign with WWE, it is in their contract. Like, they control where we go, how we look, what we look like, how we present ourselves on social media. Like, it is written language in their contracts. And you're starting to see like the more infractions, mainstream infractions that we see, especially with guys going on social media and slamming the owners or slamming the officials or slamming this, that, and the other thing. There's going to get to a point, and that's why I said earlier in the program, they're going to start taking the social media aspect and start chipping away at it.
I can
Because
see that.
if they have that right and they're paying you that kind of money, as long as it falls under the governing rules of the NHL or NBA or whatever else, they do have a lot more control over those players than people realize. Tim, what would you agree with that?
Yeah, but hold on. But then that'd also be like, when they made the Dream Team in NBA, when you had Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, blah blah, and all them. That would have been like, oh, all Chicago Bulls been like, oh no, Michael Jordan can't go play. You know what I mean? Like that, the Dream Team would have never happened then. And Michael Jordan in that era was the biggest athlete in the whole world.
Absolutely, but it was a
So
different time. There was no.
it was 100%. It was. Yeah, you're not wrong. It definitely was a different time. Tim, you got an opinion on that at all?
What are we talking about?
How
Oh, for fuck's sakes!
we're talking about the party we're having this weekend for Jason's birthday party. That's today.
Oh, we're planning out Jason's birthday party. Forgot all about that. No, I was sorry. I was dealing in chats, and then we had some what the hell was that noise?
I don't know. It was a weird noise, but we're talking
my
about
whole house shook.
Yeah, it was really fucking weird. I looked at you too. I was like, I hope it's not just me going crazy. But we're talking about how NHL players are allowed to go play in the Olympics and all that, and our team's going to be able to start saying no to that because you're making an investment on that player. Is that be just like same thing with basketball when we made the Dream Team, and when LeBron and all them made the second Dream Team. Are you gonna be able to tell them no? It's kind of their own free will to go play.
I think you got to look at it in the aspect of one is the league's players going to play in the Olympics good for the league. Yes, I mean that's it's a money game too. So you got to look at it that way. Business wise, it's smart to have your players go play on a worldwide, say. They're playing in front of the world stage. They're playing on a worldwide stage at that point in time when you're playing for the Olympics. So it is smart for these U.S. leagues to let their players go play in this. And back in the day when you're talking about when basketball and Jordan stuff like that, that was something new at that point in time, because up until a certain point in time, like you could not be a professional athlete and play in the Olympics. Everybody had to be amateurs. So there had to be some type of change to be made for professionals to go play at this level, at the Olympics. But I think it's smart for the teams because you get your players out there in front of the world and it draws more attention to your team. And I think that's why they do it. Now, is it smart for the, especially in like hockey where, there's a big case to be made that, yes, they could become injured. And players have become injured at this point in time. And we're going to be looking at this, also with the NFL coming up for the Summer Olympics, coming up here pretty soon, because they're introducing flag football to the thing. And from what I'm hearing, the NFL is going to allow NFL players to go play flag football, which I feel bad for the rest of the world because, the NFL is a U.S. sport.
There's no way these athletes are going to risk tearing an ACL or hamstring or Achilles going to play flag.
I don't know, dude. There's something about a fucking Olympic gold medal.
If you're gonna do it, just put some helmet and shoulder pads on and do it the right fucking way. Don't do no flag football.
No, I agree with you that, but not the rest of the world play the way that we play.
Well,
so that doesn't really work.
You need to learn.
And I mean, you can't play, tackle football against some of these other countries, because I mean, you look at a lot of the South American countries, you go play against their teams. A lot of these people don't get past like 5'5", 6'. You're gonna have a bunch of tiny human beings playing against a bunch of like 6'8" fucking linemen. You're not gonna.
Panay Sewell, eat them alive.
I mean that's why they're playing flag football. It's trying to bring football on a world stage, and the NFL's been trying to do.
They're
this
already
for years.
doing that by playing like 7 or 8 national.
I understand that, but there's a different
games.
level of Olympics compared to this. You know what I mean? And do I think that flag football is going to become an established part of the Olympics moving forward in the future? Probably not. Just like breakdancing didn't happen. You know, Australia kind of ruined that for the rest of the world with their whole, you know, thing at the last Olympics with the breakdancing that turned out to be just a complete joke. Yeah, Scott, you're right. Money rules the world. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the leagues turning down their players to go play on a world stage. It brings too much money back to the league. It brings too much money back to the teams. You know, it introduces a whole new set of fans to these players that come back to our teams. And
you attacked Vinny. He's 5'8" here. Come on.
Hey, just saying, Vinny. I mean, you're probably not going to pass rush on Panay Sewell. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's.
Oh my God! I have to say something. I just looked at the thread for the correspondence, and what jumped out at me. Well,
are people telling you happy birthday yet?
No, Eric. There's nothing. But somebody that I haven't heard from in decades.
Tom, happy birthday.
Somebody that I went to school with, grew up with. Scott LeClaire is watching, and like it just blew my mind that I saw him because he wrote Hadley on there. I'm like, I'm from Hadley. I'm like, what are we talking about from Hadley?
You're from Hadley, Michigan?
Yes, sir.
That makes more sense now.
Well, what the fuck does that mean? Oh. You know,
your neck's a little bit more. Your neck's a little bit more redder than I thought.
You'd be surprised. But I just want to, man, Scott, great to hear from you. Thank you so much for tuning in here. That really made my whole night. I ain't gonna lie.
No, it made your night that me and Tim remembered it's your birthday today.
Not my fucking birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
God damn it. Do you have golf report or no?
I do, but Cody, do you got anything else to add to the Olympics real quick before we move on from that?
No, I think that was really, you know, that was the kind of question I wanted to ask was the hockey one. So I'm glad you guys had a take on it, and I can see both sides of the coin now.
Rock on. All right. With that being said, it is now. Tim's 2-minute golf report, brought to you by the Sports Real Podcast. This week we had the AT&T at Pebble Beach. Colin Morikawa got his first win in 3 years. The score of 22 under. In second place, we had a tie between Minwoo Lee and Straka at 21 under. Fourth place, a tie with Fleetwood and Scheffler. Scotty made a run at this thing on that last day there, and he didn't just have enough time left in him. Morikawa kind of, like, he was up into first, you know, before he finished out this day, and then he just not enough holes left, you know, like the other guys just took over. We had a two-way tie for six. We had Burns and Batia. We had I think it was a lot of eighth place players. I didn't write them all down, but we had I fuck this name up every time, but Hisatsune, Nat Bridgman, and Shane Lowry, and a few others. But the big thing this week also was Rory McIlroy's first start of the season. He finished tied for 14th at 7 under for the year. We're going to see how he bounces back this coming up week at the Genesis Invitational. And then other big news in golf. Tiger came out at a press conference, said today he is not ruling out the possibility of playing in the Masters this year. So we might see the return of Tiger Woods to the Masters tournament this year. I don't know how he's going to do. He hasn't played in a while, and he just had disc replacement just a few months back. So, but I know he has been out. He's been chipping and putting. I don't know if he's going to be back to, you know, full swing capabilities by the time this tournament starts in April, but it'd be exciting to see Tiger come out and win it. So, I mean, other than, you know, we got Scotty and Rory playing in a tournament coming up this weekend. I'm excited about it. But that was Tim's 2 minutes golf report, brought to you by the Sports Real Podcast. And also another thing I want to touch on real quick, I just wanted to say I did see something come across my feed today while I was looking through Netflix, and I saw Ronda Rousey is making a return to MMA on a big Netflix bout on May 16th against Gina Carano. So Netflix is getting into the MMA game. It's not UFC, but Netflix is putting on an MMA fight, and they're headlining Ronda Rousey. Jason, what do you think about that? It's her first time fighting in 9 years.
I hope she gets her fucking ass kicked, if I can be honest with you. She is. I'll tell you what, man. You want to talk about losing respect for somebody? Fuck her. I hope whoever this other girl that I hope rearranges her ugly fucking nasty face. I hope that she goes in there and gets her head splattered from one side of that goddamn cage to the other. Fuck Ronda Rousey. Fuck you. Do not just stay retired. Go pop out a bunch of more babies. Go talk as much shit as you want. You are fucking irrelevant. Fuck her. No.
Cody, you got any take on that?
I mean, I feel like this is what all the I mean, if she's getting paid, you might as well come back, right?
I'm feeling you right there.
That's what it is. It's a payday.
Yeah.
It's a payday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, Cody,
Shit.
you wanna plug your stuff here real quick, brother?
Yeah. Check me out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Catching Up with Cody. Give these guys a follow. You guys are awesome. You know, this is my first live and first guest podcast. And you guys made it fun, easy, awesome. Nothing but respect for you guys, and I will definitely, if you guys allow it, I will definitely come back for multiple episodes.
Oh, we would love to have you back, Cody. And I talked to you already. We'll have to set it up next time since you're so close. You might have to come to the studio here and join us in live right in the studio.
That'd be awesome. I'm definitely down for that.
So we'll stay in touch and we'll get that worked out.
I do have one question for you, Cody, though.
Yeah.
This is about hockey and all that. Does the original six mean something?
I would say yeah.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear.
All right.
Eric likes you even more now. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'll stay in touch with you, Cody, and we'll set something up at some point. We'll get you over here into the studio since you're only so far away, and we'll do another one together.
Yeah.
And then we'll work together again in the future. Other than that, I think that's the only other thing I wanted to add is next week, February 24th at 6 p.m. we got Vinny from Just Another Sports Fan. Vinny is coming back on the show, joining us once again. So Jason finally has somebody to talk baseball with. So he's pretty fucking excited. I know it's not his birthday next week, but
it was
he'll
today.
be just as excited because Vinny is coming back on the show next week. So look forward to that show. Jason, happy birthday, brother. Lead us out.
Happy birthday.
Fuck off.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming on, Cody. I'm absolutely pleasure to have you on with us. You're welcome here anytime. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I want to make mention you mentioned the original six, which is busting me. We have this show has its own merchandise store now. PFCSportsReel.printify.me is a one-stop shop for all of our merchandise for the Sports Reel podcast. And coming this week, ironically, is a brand new T-shirt. Eric, I thought of you when I made it, my friend.
Yes.
The original six still matters. Is
Yes.
an actual T-shirt that's coming to our store. So check that out this week. With that, we appreciate everybody who tuned in. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. We would really appreciate that. And with that, go out this week. Be awesome to yourselves and to each other. We'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Go Pistons! Go Red Wings! Happy birthday, Jason!
Happy birthday, Jason!
Fuck off!